Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 is already off to an intense start with the events of Episode 1, but there is one more thing that Jeremy Renner's Mike McCluskey is bound to find out sooner rather than later. As the unelected mayor in Kingstown, Mike is well connected, and often the first person to be called when something goes wrong. In recent years, Mike has struggled to get everyone up to speed with this dynamic, as power has shifted and those in the legal sector have often been resistant, but ultimately, Mike has gotten his way. However, when things get personal, it gets considerably more intense for Mike, and that trend is about to repeat itself in Season 4. Mike McCluskey was protecting Iris for the duration of Mayor of Kingstown image via Paramount+. When the show initially began in 2021, Mike was thrust into the role of mayor after his brother, Mitch, was shot and killed. With this newfound responsibility on Mike's shoulders, he struggled under the load, but early on in his tenure, he found Iris, a young girl who was being abused by the Russian mob. Mike was able to rescue Iris from the tortured life she was trapped in, and provide for her with food, shelter, and a genuine love that didn't make any demands of her. Their relationship remained platonic to the end, and Mike went to extraordinary lengths to ensure she could have a life of her own away from Kingstown. As a result, it feels as though Mike's stability and success is in some ways tied to Iris, this woman who he was able to save. Why Ian hides Iris' death from Mike in Mayor of Kingstown Season 4 image via Paramount+. However, at the end of Mayor of Kingstown Season 3, Iris departs Kingstown on a bus shortly after being forced to kill Constantine. On this journey, Iris took her own life before the bus reached its destination, struggling to imagine a new life without Mike or anything familiar. In Mayor of Kingstown Season 4, Episode 1, Ian is informed of Iris' death through the police network, and chooses to hide it from Mike, indicating that Mike should never find out. Ian is a loyal friend of Mike's and someone who believes in his role as the mayor, but his decision to conceal the truth suggests Ian is worried about Mike. Considering Mike just drove his brother to prison, and the state of gang warfare in Kingstown, Ian may think that Mike can't handle more bad news. But when Mike does find out, it could end up being much worse depending on how he is informed. What will happen to Mike after learning of Iris' death? Things are unstable in the streets and the cells of Kingstown. Mike's mother was killed by Milo just a short time ago, and now his police officer brother is locked up in prison where his life is under considerable threat. And when Mike learns that despite all of his efforts, Iris is now dead, it is bound to affect him. But Mike deserves to know that Iris is gone. If Ian were to tell Mike, in a controlled moment where he isn't dealing with an imminent crisis, he has a chance to digest the information. But if someone with less noble intentions decides to use Iris' death against Mike, it could be disastrous.